Welcome to Mastery, the LanguageCert International ESOL C2 level spoken qualification, and it naturally focuses on the candidate's spoken skills. This exam consists of 4 parts, all of them assessing language based on practical experience and everyday English. The candidates are initially asked to share personal information and then, during the second part, asked to participate in a situational role-play. During the third part, they participate in an interactive, communicative task along with their interlocutor. Finally, they are expected to produce a long turn after they've been given a topic and some time to prepare their response. Follow-up questions conclude this last part of the exam and the spoken exam itself. The exam setup is friendly as each candidate is examined individually, not with another candidate. The session is led by an interlocutor who does not assess the candidate and conducts the spoken exam in accordance with all LanguageCert regulations. The whole session is recorded in digital format, uploaded to the LanguageCert examinations platform and sent to a fully trained, independent LanguageCert assessor to be marked. Remarking is available whenever required and the pass mark is an overall 50%. Part 1 aims to initially set the candidate at ease and elicit personal information. The first 2 questions, which aim at eliciting the candidate's name, spelling, and where he or she is from, are not assessed. However, the next questions are assessed, and the candidate will be asked between 3 and 5 more questions. Part 1 lasts 4 minutes. Part 2 requires the candidate to take part in a situational role-play. The aim of this task is for the candidate to use functional language in a range of real-life, everyday situations. The candidate is presented with 2 or 3 situations, and both the interlocutor and the candidate need to produce at least 2 turns each time. The duration of Part 2 is 4 minutes. In Part 3, the candidate and the interlocutor exchange information in order to perform a communicative task. They engage in a discussion to make a plan, arrange or decide something using written prompts. The duration of this part is 4 minutes. The fourth part of the spoken exam aims at assessing the candidate's ability to speak about a selected topic at greater length with minimal participation by the interlocutor. The candidate is given a topic, asked to prepare a response in half a minute, and then talk about it for 3 minutes. Then a few related follow-up questions conclude the exam. The duration of this task is 5 minutes. Here are a few sample questions. As already mentioned, Part 1 aims at setting the candidate at ease and eliciting personal information about the candidate. The interlocutor asks up to 5 questions, each one of them related to a specific theme. Remember that the first 2 questions, which simply elicit the spelling of the candidate's name and where he or she comes from, are not assessed. Here, the first assessed question relates to money management, and its question is, how important do you think money is for a happy and fulfilling life? Then the interlocutor will proceed with a second question taken from a second set, which in our case here relates to manners. The question might be one of the following, for instance. How would you define good manners and etiquette? The interlocutor goes on with a third question from the third set, and depending on the time left for this part of the spoken exam, might ask a fourth and a fifth question from the fourth and the fifth set. The duration of this part of the exam is 4 minutes. Part 2 requires the candidate to take part in a situational role play. He or she will be asked to take part in 2 or 3 situations. Both the candidate and the interlocutor need to produce approximately 2 turns during each situation. The interlocutor chooses a situation from a set, reads it out to the candidate, and the candidate responds to it. Here we can see an example where the interlocutor sets the following situation. I'm your office manager. You gave a presentation yesterday. I start. So, why did it go so wrong yesterday? The interlocutor initiates a situation, and both the candidate and the interlocutor need to produce approximately 2 turns. Then, the interlocutor provides a second situation where this time it is the candidate who has to start. An example of the type of situation initiated by the candidate might be, We're friends. You've heard I have failed my driving test for the 5th time. You start. Here again, both the candidate and the interlocutor need to produce approximately 2 turns. If there is time left, the interlocutor may present a third situation, which might be taken from the first or the second set of questions. The second part of the spoken exam lasts 4 minutes. In the third part of the spoken exam, the candidate and the interlocutor engage in a discussion to make a plan, arrange or decide something using written prompts. In this example, the interlocutor informs the candidate that they are going to discuss personal habits which annoy them and that they need to decide which is the most and least annoying. The candidate is provided with a task sheet with some ideas, 20 seconds to prepare his or her response, and then start when ready. The duration of this part is 4 minutes. The last part of the spoken exam, part 4, assesses the candidate's ability to speak at greater length with minimal participation by the interlocutor. The interlocutor chooses a topic. Here, the first topic of this set of topics asks the candidate to talk about what he or she can learn about a person from the way they dress. The candidate is provided with a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil and also 30 seconds for preparation. The duration of the long turn needs to be 3 minutes long. Related follow-up questions, up to 4, will conclude this part and the spoken exam itself. The follow-up questions might be similar to these ones. How important to you are your first impressions when you meet new people? On what occasions do you think carefully about what you're going to wear? Do people with similar attitudes dress in the similar way? The overall duration of part 4 is 5 minutes. You can find more information about our spoken exam in our qualification handbook on our website. Candidates are assessed in terms of 4 criteria. Task fulfillment and coherence, that is, the candidate's ability to manage the tasks adequately for the level and link the utterances into coherent speech. Accuracy and range of grammar, in other words, the candidate's ability to demonstrate a range and control of grammar. Accuracy and range of vocabulary, which relates to his or her ability to demonstrate a range and control of vocabulary. And lastly, pronunciation, intonation, and fluency, which measures the candidate's ability to connect utterances, maintain the flow, and engage in effective communicative exchanges. Candidates are awarded up to 3 marks per criterion and collect up to 12 marks. The candidate's raw score out of 12 is translated into a scale score out of 50, and successful candidates are those who attain at least 50% of the overall scale score, that is, at least 25 marks out of 50. If they do exceptionally well and collect more than 34 marks, they will be awarded a high pass. Here are some pages from the interlocutor's questions booklet, the pages on the left, and there's the candidate's task sheet on the right. For more information on this component of the exam and for support materials, simply follow this link.